Okay, hi there. This is Nick Tanias. Welcome to part one of the two-part emotional SEO video series. In part one, we're going to look at how Google lost the social arms race by a pretty catastrophic margin. And I'll also be revealing the recently emerging underground method of emotional SEO, which is the future of online traffic. Now, what does emotional SEO actually do? It unlocks the full power and influence of social ranking signals. Facebook likes, shares, user engagement, and such. It unlocks the full power these metrics have to get your website ranking much, much higher. Now, social signals are increasingly playing a bigger role in getting your site ranked and bringing more traffic to your site. Experts now value social media more than backlinks, more so than keywords and all the old school stuff. So why is emotional SEO important? It's because even with all the buzz and all the recommendations to focus on social media and user engagement and building up a brand to get your site ranked, even with all the recommendations to do this and make that the focus of your traffic campaigns, to really get the attention of Google and people in the post-knowledge graph world, the vast, vast majority of people are really only using it to maybe 30% of its current full potential. This is because they forgot about emotional SEO. Now, social factors play a huge role in getting a site ranked in the modern day, because they show Google exactly which sites its users are most engaged with, and which pages they feel are valuable enough to share with friends, and the content they enjoy most. These are the types of sites Google wants on the front page, and it identifies them by looking at these social factors. The guys who are good at emotional SEO, they're ranked high, and they're getting waves of free targeted traffic to their sites, because they have people voting for and engaging with their sites en masse, getting shared around Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, etc., and drawing in more traffic from these sites in turn. Anyway, we'll explore that deeper in the next video when we lay out emotional SEO method in detail. Because before you can really get to grips with the emotional SEO method, you need to understand exactly how Google torpedoed its attempt to make it in the social game. So the major players in the social game at the moment are basically Google, Facebook, Twitter, StumbleUpon, and Pinterest. Each of these guys have their own branded share button, and that's where the social arms race begins. Google has its +1 button, Twitter has the tweet button, Facebook has like, Pinterest has pin, and StumbleUpon has the stumble button. Each of these social networks are all in competition to have the most referral traffic and the most user engagement with their social buttons. But if we take a look at StatCounter, take a look at this. The proportion of referral traffic coming from the top 7 social media sites over the past 12 months. Currently, Facebook is leading the race by, well, a pretty substantial amount, and I'll explain precisely why that is in just a moment. See here that Pinterest is now second after continuing to grow its influence over the past few months. Twitter and StumbleUpon continue to battle it out for the 3rd and 4th position. And you'll notice here, Google's +1 is nowhere to be seen. It's not even on the radar. Now ask yourself this. Why is it the biggest search engine in the world can't compete with a startup like Pinterest or a more underground off-mainstream social site like StumbleUpon, even though Google has countless times the resource to do so? And how exactly is it that Facebook manages to stay so far ahead of everybody else? Well, the reason here is simple, and I want you to listen carefully to this. Facebook's social button focuses and connects with the user's emotion. Google's +1 button does not. In fact, it fails to do so worse than any of the other buttons. Tweet, pin, stumble, these are at least actions, things humans can do and imagine in their minds, which means they can connect to it to some extent. +1 isn't anything really, but like, that is an emotion. That's something people instantly connect with. Think back to the last time you found something while browsing the web that really made you think, that's awesome. It might have been a YouTube video. It might have been an article or image. When you found that piece of content, what was your most appropriate response to that feeling? I'll go out on a limb here and say it wasn't, you know what? I +1 this. No. What you'll have more likely felt was, yeah, I like this. You can think it, you can feel it, and so can everybody else on the web, because it's a human reaction, driven by emotion. And emotions are what drive just about every single decision we make. What we eat, how we dress, what we decide to do to make a living, the people we talk to and have close to us, how we spend our leisure time, what we choose to share with our friends and family. Doctors, scientists, religious counselors all agree. Emotions are what guides us. It's undeniable. And now Google has developed to the point where it can identify the websites its users feel most strongly about. This has become the core concept behind the prevailing emotional SEO movement. And because Facebook managed to resonate with the way users feel about content on the web with the like button, even if it was only to a small extent, it still gets used, pressed, and clicked way more often than any of the other social buttons. Emotional SEO follows the idea Google itself is trying to get across to people. It's not about SEO as much as it is about people. You should optimize your website for humans, not machines. Google knows this and measures this. It turns social signals into cold data and ultimately rankings. Yet when Google realized its monopoly on search was threatened by other platforms making headway in search, it forgot that it was emotions that drive social actions on the internet, not logical +1 data. Unfortunately for Google, its left-brain scientists who value emotion over logic screwed up by choosing the emotionless Google +1 button, preventing it from successfully challenging Facebook in the battle as a social platform. Facebook was smarter. It invented the emotional like button. Now you may have thought during the course of this video, there are way more emotions than just like, and you would be right on the money. While Facebook may have been the first to the table when it comes to connecting with human emotion online, it has only just scratched the surface. It's still leaving plenty on the table. In the concluding part of the Emotional SEO series, I'll reveal the Emotional SEO method to you in detail, how it gets you higher rankings, free targeted traffic, more traffic overall, and leads you to a whole lot more profit. For the meantime, watch this video a couple times over, really embed the idea that emotions are what drive us, and how powerful the ability to connect with the whole spectrum of human emotion would be. This is Nick Tanias, and I'll see you next time. Hey there, Nick Tanias here again for the concluding part of the Emotional SEO series. In the last video, we discovered how engaging the emotions of your website audience is the way forward when it comes to social engagement, higher rankings, and way more traffic. Today I'm going to walk you through the actual process of how those rankings are achieved, resulting in floods of free targeted search engine traffic to your site with the ultimate aim of increasing your profits. So listen up as we're getting straight into it. If you look at the diagram here, you can see the method is very much focused on traffic. The Emotional SEO method begins by massively increasing your site's viral coefficient. It's the reason why millions of websites add the like button to their website. It increases the viral coefficient by using emotion. I'll explain this in a minute. Before we move on though, I know a lot of people get a little unsettled when they hear the word viral. They tend to assume it means low-quality, untargeted traffic. They say you'll make some money with viral traffic, but not so much as with targeted traffic from the search engines. Well, here's the thing about that. In general, viral traffic is not always put to best use when it's instantly monetized, which is what people tend to try and do. What viral traffic is best at, especially within the paradigm of emotional SEO, is to consistently give your site the chance to fire off those powerful ranking signals to Google and other search engines. That then leads to higher rankings, and after that, of course, comes the highly targeted traffic from Google, which is great to monetize. And not only that, it creates a wave of targeted social referrals as people talk about your content and cause others to click through to your content. This flood of traffic does indeed filter through and bring you fresh leads. And not only that, it creates a wave of targeted social referrals as people talk about your content and cause others to click through to your content. This flood of traffic does indeed filter through and bring you fresh leads, opt-ins, and sales. So in actual fact, you can monetize a good chunk of this traffic while getting your site noticed on a wider scale. I mean, think about it. When you see the content that appears in the top 10 of Google, it's the pages and websites that people are talking about the most. The stuff people are sharing and choosing to link to. That is why Google chooses to rank sites highly. Because people are interested and engaged. Engagement and attention is everything online. Without it, you're nowhere. Viral traffic is the best way to get attention to your site, better than anything else I've come across. And there's different types of viral traffic. For example, when you see someone share a product review of a gadget they want to buy on Amazon, that's going to bring more buyer traffic than someone sharing a funny picture. Now, we'll get back to that later. First, though, I need to explain the viral coefficient, because every page on the internet has a viral coefficient. A product review has a viral coefficient. A funny picture of a cat has a viral coefficient. A sales page has a viral coefficient. And so does every page, blog post, article, and video on the internet. And it's the reason some companies and websites blow up, and others drift alone with the tumbleweed. The viral coefficient is defined as the number of additional visitors each new visitor will bring to your site on average. So a viral coefficient of 1 to 0 means there is absolutely no virality to your site at all. Nobody talks about it, nobody shares it, nobody links to it, nobody shows it to their friends, so no extra traffic. And because nobody cares about your site, Google won't rank it highly, so it is losing traffic as a result. A viral coefficient of 1 to 1 means each new visitor will bring, on average, one extra visitor with him or her as well, through links, word of mouth, email recommendations, and most likely Facebook, since that's where the majority of the web's social traffic comes from. So 1,000 visitors heading to a site with a viral coefficient of 1 to 1 means that the site will soon have another 1,000 visitors coming its way. And when those new visitors arrive, they'll bring another 1,000 with them. And on it goes. Now the real fun starts when you get a site with a viral coefficient of 1 to 2. 1,000 visitors will bring 2,000 visitors with them. Those 2,000 will bring an additional 4,000. Those guys bring along 8,000. And those guys bring in 16,000 visitors. And so on. I hope this makes sense to you. The important thing to remember is that a higher viral coefficient means any traffic you bring to your site brings in way more traffic with it on top. That's exactly why the like button became so popular, because this simple button increases the viral coefficient of any website. But as you know from the last video, the like button is just one single emotion, and so it limits the emotional response to just liking your content. Now, emotional SEO can take what the like button started even further. The LoveClaw emotional interface, which I'll show you in just a moment, achieves a considerably higher viral coefficient than any other social technology on the web, including Facebook's like button. So now let's get down to the real nitty-gritty. How does this translate to more targeted traffic for your site? Well, if we open up my trusty mind map here, I can show you. Okay, so here's what all available evidence has shown us that Google loves to see in top-ranking websites. A decent measure of each of these three signals, social votes, user engagement, and traffic, send Google one clear message: that your site is worth ranking. And a website using emotional SEO fires off these signals like fireworks on the 4th of July. Google likes to know that real live people are talking about your site and sharing it with their friends. To Google, there's only one reason for sharing a website's content, and that's because there's interesting content there to share. Interesting content means a positive user experience for Google's users. So Facebook likes act as a very real social vote for your site. Tweets show you're worthy of conversation. Pins and stumbles serve the same purpose. It's legitimate, human social proof to Google that your site is worth taking notice of and ranking higher for even more people to see. So the more social votes you get, the higher Google will want to rank you. Remember that. More social shares equals higher Google rankings. Google loves social votes. Now, user engagement. Google likes to know that a site on its front page is engaging its users and providing a real immersing experience. It wants to see that users aren't just leaving within the first 10 seconds, but are instead busy reading or watching content, clicking around the site instead of just hitting the back button, visiting a number of different pages, sticking around for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 5 minutes. The better user metrics your site has, again, the higher Google will rank your site. There are countless ways to increase user engagement, but the key is really just to provide great content to your target audience. So Google loves high user engagement. Finally then, traffic. Now traffic is another ranking signal the SEO community strongly believes Google is looking at. The overall traffic coming to your website and posts in the first place. Remember, Google has Gmail, the Google Toolbar, and the Google Chrome browser used by millions of people. It's collecting a huge amount of data where people are spending their time online. Google knows. I mean, think about it. If Google can hear a lot of people stampeding to see some website, don't you think Google might decide there's something interesting on that website, so it should rank it higher? In fact, many SEOs now believe that Google is checking for legitimate traffic as a signal that backlinks and social votes are genuine and not fakes. In other words, Google expects to see a site that suddenly gets 1,000 likes and a bunch of links to actually have the traffic to back it up. Do you hear that? A lot of people just had an aha moment right there. Google can measure traffic and know if you're legit or faking it. It's no wonder so many sites artificially building backlinks lost their rankings. This might be an aha moment for you, realizing that traffic can affect your rankings. And this right here is the single most overlooked aspect of viral traffic. Although viral traffic can be a little less targeted than search engine traffic initially, it provides an excellent jumping off point for a decent site to start sending out its user engagement signals, pulling in social votes, and showing Google there's a reason for people to be on that site in the first place. So Google loves a site with traffic. And if you don't currently have a website with traffic coming to it, don't worry, because a little later on I'm going to tell you how to discover an awesomely effective method for getting 1,000 new visitors to your website in 7 days. So let's take a look at the viral loop because we're gearing up for the real clever part now. Here you can see two types of sites. One site that uses the regular Facebook buttons to get attention, traffic, social shares, and so on. And another site that uses the LoveClaw emotional interface that I mentioned earlier. In our live case study, the LoveClaw emotional interface, we'll just call it LoveClaw for now, it proved to be 3.5 times more effective than the like button at getting content shared across the web. So as you can see on the diagram now, whereas the like button would get 2 clicks, LoveClaw would get 7. If the like button could get 2,000, LoveClaw would get 7,000, and so on. Let me show you why. Okay, so here we are at munchweb.com and the recent post, "Will Obama Destroy Your Business?" Now this is an example of strong user-focused content. It already has 74 comments, 36 likes, and 31 tweets. But if we scroll down the page, you'll find the LoveClaw emotional interface. The LoveClaw software is fully customizable to display whatever buttons you want, to suit your brand and your site, including changeable text buttons to connect with whatever emotion or reaction you think your users might have. So you've got a call to action here. Your reaction. Then 6 high-impact, attention-grabbing image buttons, giving the user an option to express their emotional reaction to the post. In this case, the options are love it, the truth, I hate it, interesting, shocking, useful. And you can see here, these LoveClaw buttons, simply by tapping into the emotions of the user, it's managed to get over 100 shares, way more than Facebook and Twitter, even combined. This ability to engage the audience to such a powerful extent is the core of emotional SEO. You get improved engagement as they are compelled to press on these buttons to express themselves, more social votes as they share their reaction to the content, and this in turn brings more traffic onto the site. And it starts the loop all over again. More shares, more traffic, more engagement. And Google takes notice. It sees all this commotion, checks out the site, and the algorithm ranks the site higher. More search engine traffic starts arriving on the site. They check out content, and since that content was most likely created with them in mind, these users can't help but engage with the site. They're even more compelled to click the LoveClaw emotional buttons and share across the web. So the cycle continues, drawing in an ever-increasing number of targeted users, building your search engine ranks, establishing your brand, and ultimately earning you a tidy profit. And that is how to use the initial surge of viral traffic. Engaging your visitors' emotions is now the path to building a successful website in today's value-focused economy. The emotional approach to SEO is the new way forward. As for the emotional interface, there isn't actually another tool on the market that taps into user emotion the way the LoveClaw buttons do. On Tuesday, April 9th, LoveClaw is going on sale for a very short time, and only to a select audience. Since you're watching this video, that means you're part of that audience. If you remember I mentioned earlier about getting those 1,000 visitors to your site, well, on that same Tuesday, you'll get the opportunity to claim a spot with the LoveClaw creator for a special one-off training webinar, which will show you exactly how to fire up that loop by getting a minimum of 1,000 visitors to your website in only 7 days. And that's about it for today's session. But before I go, I've just been reminded of an awesome example of a viral loop in action that's been using emotional SEO for a while. It's a web page that's been totally optimized to get the absolute most shares it possibly can, and it pulls in more traffic than the example I showed you earlier, just by its design. I'll record another video so I can walk you through what's been done. That way you can start doing it for your site as well, getting even more shares and pulling in a bigger surge of traffic. I'll do my best to get it done in the next few days. Otherwise, just keep your eyes and ears out for news on Tuesday the 9th of April. Thanks for joining me today. Have yourself a great week. This is Nick Tanias, signing off. Okay, hello and welcome to the spur-of-the-moment bonus session of the Emotional SEO video series. Nick Tanias here with you once again. I hope everything's going great with you and that you've enjoyed this video series. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you how to lay out a page on your site so that it gets the absolute maximum amount of shares, especially with the help of LoveClaw. So the page you can see on your screen now has been extensively tweaked, tested, and transformed over the course of several months to ensure it has reached the pinnacle of virality and has a viral coefficient that's way higher than your regular web page. And if you remember from previous videos, it's viral traffic that has the power to provide all those wonderful ranking signals to get you ranking higher and pulls in that targeted search traffic, which you profit from. Just look at these sexy 360-day stats for this site. Bear in mind this is just a simple quick case study site with only a single image made in about 4 hours as the sole piece of content. I can hear the question in your head. Yes, that's 6-figure traffic to one single page. As you can see, the bounce rate is really low, so you know people are staying on the site and absorbing the content. And you can see in the stats that the average user spends nearly 3 minutes on the site. I've seen search traffic with way worse user metrics than this little viral site. This really blows the myth that viral content only brings flyby visitors. It all depends on how you present your content. YouTube, for example. It's the pinnacle viral site that has more than 1 billion unique users each month. Its bounce rate, as recorded by Alexa.com, is incredibly low at just 30%, and if you look at the average time spent on site per visitor, it's an incredible 20 minutes. Like us here at Loveclaw, YouTube grasps the value of grabbing attention and keeping it. Google bought YouTube's hand in marriage for approximately $1.65 billion, and what YouTube does is exactly what Google loves to see in every website. I have a metaphor I like to use to explain why this approach to get serious Google traffic will work for you. Back when we were still formulating the emotional method, we came up with the idea that Google is very much like a hot woman, or rather, the stereotype of a hot woman. Your stereotypical hot lady has everybody after her, wanting to win her over, just like how every SEO is clamoring to try and build a site they think will impress Google the most. Flowers and candy replaced by backlinks and heading tags. Now, if you try to impress the hot woman by doing what you think she would like, then she's simply going to ignore you, just as how Google will penalize anyone who relies too heavily on traditional SEO practices. However, if you were to just go out there and be your very best self, doing your own thing confidently, unaffected by whether or not she's looking over at you, then guess what? All of a sudden, like a switch has been flipped, she approaches you and says, "Hey there, stud," and the magic begins. What works in relationships applies just as well to business, because guess what? Business is all about people, and people are all about emotions. If you give it some thought, immediately you can see Google really is the hot woman of the internet, right? So you do your own thing and focus on having your site connect on an emotional level with more and more people, and then Google, seeing all that happens online, will start taking notice of you, and that's when your business can seriously explode. So here we find ourselves at Mavocado.com, which was a fun little site we created as a case study in the healthy eating niche. Zero effort has been made to get any Google traffic. In fact, it barely has any textual content and no conscious SEO has been done. The goal of this viral was to show how quickly you can get targeted Facebook fans using a viral campaign. This single-page site has pulled in about 1,500 fans and propelled the Facebook page to be a serious page in that niche. You can now see it has over 18,000 fans. The interesting thing is that this project has succeeded without Google and is now incredibly well positioned to suck in Google's attention because of all that traffic, great user metrics, and social proof. There are several core elements that make this page perfect for sharing, and this works for absolutely any niche. Just like with the Loveclaw software, this page structure was designed to work perfectly in sync with natural human behavior. So right away, you're met with the first set of share buttons. This is the first thing users can interact with, and it sets the stage for the reader, implanting the idea of sharing in their mind. Then they'll take a look at the content itself. You could use any type of engaging content here, and that is something that I and the Loveclaw team want to continue helping you with. Our journey has just begun. Now, for a page to truly go viral within your niche, it needs to tug on the audience's emotional strings. Controversial topics, shared frustrations, shocking facts, anything they'd consider to be awesome. Funny and cute works well too. Once we reach the bottom of the content, we're met with our old friend, the Loveclaw emotional interface, with a brand new set of image buttons, which our audience will inevitably click to share their reactions. Like so. So the Loveclaw buttons do their job here of emotionally engaging with the user at the perfect moment when they're done viewing the content. That's when their emotional reaction is at its strongest, and they are looking for the next step. Notice the different call to action for the Loveclaw buttons. This time it says, pick one, telling the reader exactly what action to take next. This works. You see, with Loveclaw, you're in safe hands. We're continually testing different buttons, different colors, different layouts, different positions, etc. Only by testing do you truly know what works, yet it can be a very time-consuming task. The great thing is, we're doing the testing for you, keeping you in the loop with the best practices and providing default settings that get the best results. Just like the useful tips I've given you in the video series, by sticking with me and the Loveclaw team, you'll be introduced to so much more knowledge and highly effective tricks and tools that will impact your business immediately. So let's get started and quickly review what makes an incredible landing page to drive shares and increase engagement. Here are a couple of quick key points to creating a page designed to go viral. Number 1. Eliminate options. Just like the Google homepage has one main action it wants you to do, a viral landing page should be focused on getting people to share. Number 2. Tell the user what to do next with strong, precise call to action. This makes a huge difference as you implant in your audience's mind the exact next step to make. Number 3, and perhaps the most important one, make sure you connect with your audience in an emotional way. The Love Claw buttons are perfect to immediately make this emotional connection. In essence, this is all about engaging the user, generating the most shares you can, and getting more traffic. All this sends out the biggest ranking signals to Google, and you enjoy the benefits that come with that authority. Higher rankings, more traffic, and more profit for your money pages by forging an emotional connection with your audience. It's funny how this is in contrast to how most sites are laid out. The majority out there are doing what they think works. This gives you the advantage. The LoveClaw emotional traffic technology forges an emotional connection with everyone who touches it. It's technology and emotion combined. Which, funnily enough, is something we as a species have been fascinated with for years when you think about it. There are countless examples in movies and pop culture of robot characters with human emotions, and humans being able to engage with that technology on a legitimate emotional level. The best example I can think of is probably that Robin Williams movie, Bicentennial Man. Did you ever see it? It really does make an amazing point, so I'll explain, but I promise not to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it yet. So it's the one where Robin Williams plays an android, which is a human-like robot bought as a kind of toy or a housekeeper for this wealthy American family. As it spends more time around the family, it discovers the oddities and intricacies of human emotion. Eventually, he starts to develop emotions himself, and the family develop an attachment to him as well. He's loved. He's given a name. He becomes known as Andrew Martin, and he really makes the family feel something for him, you know? I mean, even when they were going crazy at him, those feelings are closer to hate and frustration than love and affection. The point is they connect with him on a deep, meaningful level. And if you think about it, isn't it the people we love most who drive us crazy beyond all belief? Anyway, Andrew Martin isn't the only android in the movie. It's set in the future, so they're pretty commonplace. He is, however, the only android in the world who can connect with humans emotionally. That's why he gets the special treatment. That's the reason he gets to be part of the family. Those other droids? There's no more to them but logic and numbers. No emotion. And they're all eventually thrown out or replaced. Because there's no emotion there, they're easily forgotten. But our buddy Andrew, the emotional robot? Yep, he's a keeper. So just like when you add emotions to your website, and you care about your user's experience, you stay in their minds. They remember you. You can't be easily replaced, and they'll come back to you again and again. The sites which are best able to make an emotional connection with their audience are the ones which will flourish into the future. Those that don't will be left behind, just like how Google Plus is losing the social arms race. It's up to you to decide how you will take this knowledge forward and apply it to your business. So there you have it, the concluding part of the Emotional SEO series. Over the past few days, you've seen the importance of engaging user emotion, the real purpose of viral traffic, how to correctly optimize a page for maximum shareability, and you also know how to combine all of this to get your site higher rankings, more traffic, and even bigger profits. All that's left for you to do now is to keep your eyes and ears open for the announcement of LoveClaw going live, so you can be among the first to fully engage with emotional SEO, and let your site visitors experience the unique LoveClaw emotional interface. Also, be sure to turn up to one of the live workshops that your friend Chris Munch is hosting. Then make sure you get on there to learn a whole bunch more. Chris is the creator of LoveClaw, a 7-year SEO veteran, a traffic aficionado, and an all-around good guy. He just packs immense value into everything he does. So make sure you get on the online workshop. His advice has changed the fortunes of more businesses than I can count. Oh, and if you get a chance, watch Bicentennial Man, because it's a really great movie. The guy from Jurassic Park's in it too. And if you happen to have seen it before, go watch it again and see if you can't pick out a few more examples of how human emotion combined with technology has such an enormous impact. See you on the live workshop. This is Nick Tanias. Thanks for watching.